Now we'd like to start the question and answer session, and we'll send it back to Joseph.
Okay, thank you very much. That was a lot of information. And again, for anyone who is following the presentation, you can download the presentation from the site right below the video, and it includes the links to the surveys that were presented to you. So let's start off. There are the 4 top voted for questions that were submitted fairly early, but garnered more votes than any others. I think they come down to a basic issue that I want to raise with you, and I hope you'll address in some detail. And essentially, it is that there was a viable route that had been identified for the relief line before it was canceled, and that route would allow for tunneling, that as a result of some of the changes that have been made to the plans as you've been progressing, including additional bridge construction and other things, that the cost comparison between the underground tunnel as it was planned and the above ground may not really be evident. So the question is, why would you do a side-by-side cost comparison? Why have you not done that with the current above-ground plan versus the underground plan? And I wonder if you could address that. It seems to run through a number of questions that got a number of votes.
Yeah. Hi, Joseph. It's Malcolm. I can start to answer that. So we are very, very aware of the desire of some people to have an underground alignment through here, similar to the Relief Line South. And the proposal that was put forth by the community was a kind of hybrid version of the Relief Line South, where it still respected the good transfer at East Harbour Station, and continued east, went underground around Booth Avenue, and then continued north, and kind of at that point in time mimicked the Relief Line South through a car loss station and up to the Gerrard Station. So I guess the first thing is when the initial business case was prepared, the comparison was between the Ontario line and the Relief Line South, and a do-nothing proposal. And the Ontario line was found to perform better. But there were concerns. There were concerns about noise, vibration, the communities of the above-grade sections as part of the Ontario line. And what we have done is we've gone through a diligent effort to mitigate and deal with those issues. You heard Carrie earlier today talking about the fact that noise is actually going to be reduced by up to half in some areas through the alignment. The GO widening, the GO expansion project was going to be coming through this area regardless. And we're really just piggybacking on some of that work was going to be occurring anyways. And the Ontario line actually enables the full sound barrier through this neighborhood. So from a noise and vibration point of view, we've addressed that issue. With respect to the impacts to parks, as we also presented in this deck, the parks are actually getting larger, and through the construction methodology that's been developed by Richard and his team, they're actually going to be staying out of the parks. They're going to be working from within the corridor. Their access ways are such that by and large, all the parks are protected. And in fact, when we're done, the retaining walls will be inside the Metrolinx property line. And the park space is actually going to increase by 2,600 square meters. So those are all very positive things. With respect to a side-by-side comparison, we actually, again, the Relief Line South was compared side-by-side to the Ontario line. We have, through the slightly revised running of the Ontario line through this area with the both Ontario line trains on the north side of the joint corridor, the heavy rail track, are maintaining our pricing structure. There are some easier ways, the things that are built during this. There are more difficult things like the bridge construction. So it's a series of push and pulls. But we would not have been pursuing this if it was going to be more expensive, dramatically more expensive, or wasn't beneficial. So the North Alignment also has the benefit of simpler stations with the center platform. There's no confusion about which platform you get on and which direction you're going in. So those are all very positive outcomes. With respect to the community's proposal, once I said again, there is a hybrid. I call it a hybrid of the Relief Line South, and we have done some high-level costing comparisons side by side against this, and we're expecting upwards of $870 million more expensive to do this underground alignment as suggested. It also has a lot of problems. We still have to deal with the Midtown Interceptor sewer that crosses the alignment between Carlaw and Gerrard. The Enbridge facility down at East Harbor has to be avoided. It's a vital piece of infrastructure that it can't be disrupted. There's also sewer mains in Carlaw itself. I'll give you an example. The cost of the Carlaw station in the TTC plan was $310 million, and the cost of Gerrard station was $345 million. So that's $655 million worth of extra station construction alone that makes up that part of that $870 million. There's offsets naturally for the at-grade stations at Queen and Gerrard. And, the offsets to those are just over 100 million, around 130 million. So you can see quite quickly that you add up to that 870 plus million dollars very quickly. And the fact is that the current alignment that performed well in the IBC remains the Ontario line deliverable that we're going forward with. And through very good work on the part of the design teams and Richard and Carrie and everyone behind them, we've been able to mitigate almost all of the issues that have been raised by the community, and in support of the alignment that we're showing to you today. Back to you, Joseph.
Okay.